just hit my windshield while I'm driving it. It made a loud noise. I hope we're okay. This is supercharged number 2084. This is supercharged number 2085.
That sounded like a fart.
A bed fart. Okay, we're going into Angelic Bakery.
Has peanut butter frosting.
Oh, is it cupcake from Angelic?
Yeah, you get the cake, I get the frosting.
Oh, I don't get any frosting at all?
I'll save you a bite. It might have my saliva on it.
Maybe 2 bites. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, we are heading to Island Walk Community now for our plant-based diet lecture, question and answer, all kinds of stuff going on in that community. So we got a surprise for the guests. We got dark chocolate avocado brownies. So it's in, and also black bean meatloaf. Here it is before anyone arrives. Here's our tech support person for the presentation.
I'm the presenter and the tech support. Look how good this clicker works.
Does it work?
It
Works well?
forward and it goes backwards.
And it's fast. It doesn't hesitate or lag.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to test the microphones out.
Hello, testing. Hello. Hello. Yeah.
The black bean meatloaf and dark chocolate avocado brownies.
Oh, okay.
And then you put the other stuff right in the freezer?
It comes in little packages with, the nutritional information and, cooking information and.
Pretty healthy?
It's like $10-11 and it's a little pricey, but they're very good.
Hello. Hey, welcome everybody. Did you guys all get something to eat up there? If you haven't, yeah, and that's actually from, not from us, but from a very generous person who you probably know, yeah.
Sean, well, no, Sean.
Yes, and she's plant-based, if you didn't know that. So, anyway, welcome, and my name is Mike, and this is my wife Denise, beautiful wife Denise, and thank you for being here. Yeah, I've been working, some of you may know, or maybe you don't know, so I want to kind of give you a little quick background before we start our talk, that I became plant-based in 2014, and my parents were living here, and they still do live in Southwest Florida. They don't live in Naples anymore, actually, they moved to Sarasota. But I kind of started a lot of social media groups around that time, and just in an effort to build connections, because in 2014, I didn't know anybody that was plant-based. It seems like it wasn't that long ago, but I literally knew no one, and no one in my family supported me. So I had to kind of go out and make new friends, and that's how I did it, was on social media, which was newer at the time. And these social media groups have grown, and this is our biggest area. And we run the nonprofit plantbaseddiet.org. We do work all over, but this is our absolute biggest area, Southwest Florida. And were any of you guys at Naples Veg Fest on Sunday? You raise your hand, see? Yeah. We just did Naples Veg Fest. That was our annual outdoor festival that we do, and we're already planning for next November. So if you missed it this time, just keep on the lookout. And if you want to hear about Naples Veg Fest and other events that we do, just sign up on the sign-in where you came in, get your email out there, and you will only hear from us about plant-based events. And we have a lot of them actually to tell you about. So also want to tell you that, I'm 51 years old. Both, actually, Denise and I are 51 years young, I suppose. And we're both young, right? So we'll always be young. And I kind of got into this because I just wanted to let you know that I feel like it's all about knowledge. And the more you learn about this, the more it makes sense as to why you want to be plant-based. And a lot of this, I think the reason why everyone isn't plant-based right now is just because of habits and conditioning. And I was talking to some folks before the event here, and it seems to me that the younger you happen to be, or the younger people are, the more likely they're going to be plant-based. People are growing up that way. Now, I never knew about any of this stuff when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. Nobody talked about this stuff. And I don't even know if anyone knew anything besides the word vegetarian at that point in time. That's about the most you ever heard, right? Growing up. So let me see a show of hands too for where you guys are on your journey, because this whole thing's a journey, all right? For me, it began when I was very, very young, and I finally started going vegetarian when I was about 40 years old, and it kind of progressed from there. So it's only been a recent progression for me, but who would consider themselves like fully plant-based that's here, just so I know who. So we got a couple, okay? Now so I guess the rest of everyone is just kind of curious, right? Or you're partially plant-based? Is that a good way to, yeah? Partially, okay. And so you're looking into it. So I'm just curious, what are some of the reasons why you're looking into it? What started you looking into this?
Well, actually, I was vegetarian for about 14 years.
Right.
And then I'm very influenced by social life and so forth. Mm-hmm. So I married somebody that really likes, having not plant-based on the table.
That's most people, yeah. Unfortunately.
And but what's interesting was about 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, his son bought him a book called How Not to Die.
All right, Dr. Greger, yeah.
And he asked his father, please, it was for Father's Day or something, please for me, read this book. And he's like, I don't really read. He goes, just read part 1. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was like 90% of the book.
Yeah.
And after he finished that book, this meat and potato man said, we need to go vegan.
He's convinced, yeah.
So we were really strict for a couple of years, and now we've kind of gotten, a little lax. So my daughter calls me a vegan, and right. I consider myself veganish.
Okay, well, we're all about positive peer pressure, okay? So hopefully we'll help to kind of reinforce why we're doing this, because I really believe that it's only a matter of time until everyone adopts this lifestyle, out of either learning and it being irrefutable evidence, or just out of sheer necessity, like if you're looking at this from an environmental standpoint. So that's why we started this nonprofit. When I started these social media groups in 2014, I started the nonprofit because I just thought it all made sense to me, right? Everyone's going to be like this, so I got to get the word out as soon as possible, because everyone's going to benefit. That's the bottom line for me, right? So, and what Denise might want to say something.
No, I think that was a great intro.
Okay, well, we have our prepared talk, so we're going to give that to you, and then we'll have time for questions and answers, discussions, anything you guys want to talk about, basically. We would love to hear. So.
You're the first slide.
Okay, well, that's me. Okay, you already heard. I started this organization, plantbaseddiet.org, and you can go there. It's a website in 2014, and we have a tremendous amount of resources on there too, which we will talk about here in our presentation. So, and then that's Denise. Yep.
Yeah, I started my plant-based journey back when I met Mike in 2017. And we talked a lot about diet, and every time I would order the wrong thing, he would tell me what I was doing wrong. He wasn't in my face about it, but every time I selected something, he's like, that's not vegan, that has butter in it, or that has dairy. So he was gentle in coaxing me into this. And I said, well, I need more information. I don't know if I just wanted to take his word for everything. So he said to read the China study. and I did, and so that was really a turning point for me.
How many of you guys have read that recently? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great book, and you could see, like, in the China study when they were doing studies on rats, that they could practically turn on and off the cancer genes by having more than 5% animal protein in the diet. So that was something that became really apparent when I read the book. And I've had people that I lost in my life that I think could have been preventable. They could have had a better life if they didn't have type 2 diabetes, or if they didn't get breast cancer. So, yeah, go ahead.
We're going to switch off. Yeah, I just want to mention that what Denise is saying, that's also something that got me interested in this lifestyle early on, is I kind of watched people as they aged, or even if they weren't that old, which is really bad, who got very sick and then ultimately passed away. No one lives forever. And what I always saw in my own mind was that most illnesses or suffering is preventable. And that's also what got me into this.
Yeah. So I switched to a plant-based diet almost immediately. As soon as I got all the frozen items out of my freezer and stopped buying that stuff again and started eating more like Mike. And he did show me probably too much vegan junk food from the beginning, because I think that's how you can entice someone into going plant-based, to show them all the alternatives. And there's a lot of delicious vegan junk food out there. It's not very good for you, but it's a good transition. So, yeah, since I met Mike, I lost 20 pounds. A couple of years ago, we started running competitive 5Ks again, and we'd often place first place in our age groups in the 40s, which was fun. And yeah, I'm now the same weight I was in the 8th grade, and I wasn't a fat 8th grader, so I'm really happy about that. What do we have up there? These are just some other individuals in our team of directors. They're not on the board, but they help us out with Veg Fest a lot. I really like Shannon Blair and her son, Vegan Evan. They helped MC the Naples Veg Fest on Sunday. Yeah, they've been really inspirational. So if you ever get tired of eating plant-based just for health reasons, they'll tell you about what movies you can watch that'll inspire you to eat plant-based for the animals. Evan, he's cute.
Yeah.
So what we do all kinds of Veg Fests. We do restaurant events, which I'll do about in a few minutes. We can do both indoor and outdoor events of any size. So if you have something in mind that you'd like to talk to us about partnering at any venue, just let us know. But we can do all virtual experiences with live stream. We've done virtual Veg Fests before. And we partner with other Southwest Florida businesses and vendors too.
It's not on here, but I know that some of you all are involved with the Blue Zones here in Naples, and we are a Blue Zones, I think it's approved organization. We went through a process with them, so it's worth mentioning that.
Yeah, a lot of people talk to us about PCRM too. I know some people have gone through the 21-day kickstart. We really admire them too. And Dr. Bernard will be speaking at some of our Veg Fest virtually upcoming.
I'm actually going to be very fortunate to be doing a personal interview with Dr. Bernard at PCRM this weekend. We'll release it on the YouTube channel, so if you want to see it, actually, him and I were emailing each other today, discussing what the topic was going to be. It's going to be an interview. It's not, he usually gives presentations, but this will be an interview between me and him.
Yep, so watch that. So our slogan is for people, animal, and the planet. So I put together a slide for each of these components. For people, that's yeah. So for people, there's growing evidence that a plant-based diet is associated with greater health benefits. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. Some people have learned that plant-based diets help with things like arthritis. Beyond that, there's research that shows that the mind, oops, let me go back. Yeah, the mind diet with a Mediterranean DASH intervention for neurodegenerative delay, it can help with slowing cognitive decline, and Alzheimer's. Yeah, so we've had some speakers at our VegFest that talk about that, actually, that they wrote the Alzheimer's solution. So, yeah.
That was good. Both my grandparents had Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it's really sad when, you know, someone you love forgets your name or doesn't know who you are anymore. It's not fun at all. So, plant-based diets are lower in saturated fat, higher in fiber. So that's something we saw in the book How Not to Diet. Fiber is really important. And most of these quotes I got from Discover magazine just fairly recently. But other books that are good to read if you haven't read them already, the China study, like I mentioned, How Not to Die, How Not to Diet, the book by Dr. Greger. Neil Barnard has a program for reversing diabetes and how to prevent and reverse heart disease. That's by Caldwell Esselstyn. So just some good ideas for you.
I wanted to mention some of the things that Denise has talked about, the cognitive decline, the brain. It's all connected. You may not think this, and I don't think we even realized this even a few years ago when I started the nonprofit, that the connection between the food you eat and the health of your brain this is a new area that people are getting into, but there is a definite connection there, just as there is between your gut health and your mental health and the rest of your health as well. And much of your gut health is optimized when you eat high fiber foods like you were mentioning, and foods full of water, which are mainly whole plants. It really does help to optimize all of that.
Yes, exactly. I just saw an article in Oprah magazine yesterday that was talking about something that the article suggested that people don't want to talk about, is that there's such a higher rate of Alzheimer's among African Americans, and a study in this article mentioned that those people also had a lot of heart disease and diabetes. So there's a definite connection there. Stress was another factor. Like if you're lower income and you're faced with economic challenges all the time, it puts a lot more stress on the body, and stress isn't good for you either. But I believe that the diet is a major factor. So some other movies that you can watch on this are What the Health and The Game Changers. It talks about health.
And another movie, did you mention Plant Pure Nation there? Is that up there? I can't remember. But oh, okay. Well, let me just mention that if you go to our website, plantbaseddiet.org, right where you land, you scroll down, you'll see an image of Dr. Greger, if you know what he looks like. And that is actually, if you click on it, the entire movie Plant Pure Nation you can watch for free. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. Just go straight to our website.
Are those movies on YouTube? Or like Netflix?
What the Health, I believe, is on Netflix, and the other one, The Game Changers, you can watch that on, I think, Amazon Prime.
There's a good mix of stuff on Netflix and Amazon Prime. Just scroll around, they'll give you suggestions.
Yeah, they have a lot of documentaries on Netflix. Okay, did I skip one? No, people, animals, yeah. So here's a quote that I got when I was at a animal rights conference. Someone from PETA said this: "There is no humane way to kill an animal that doesn't want to die." And don't worry, I'm not going to show you any slaughterhouse videos. But what happens to them is not good. And so eating.
I just want to mention what she's talking about is our slogan for people, animals, and our planet. That is the slogan for our nonprofit. And there are these 3 dimensions to the plant-based lifestyle. It's going to benefit you, people. It's going to benefit animals because no animals get harmed because we're not even using any animal products anymore. And then it's going to help the planet or the environment.
Exactly. So people, when you tell them that you're plant-based or even vegetarian, one of the questions that we often get still, I think it's a joke half the time now, is where do you get your protein? Well, protein deficiencies are really uncommon in America, even among vegetarians, so it's not even an issue.
And actually, if you know a lot about plants, you are aware that all plants contain protein.
Every living cell.
What's that?
Every living cell.
Yeah, that's right, yes. And that's where the animals get it from too, by eating the plants, right? That's where they get their protein from. And you're not going to need to supplement protein as long as you're eating a correct plant-based diet. So just recognize that. There are protein, something you probably heard of, protein bars, protein powder, right? You don't need those unless you are an extreme athlete, basically. And as long as you're eating a well-balanced plant-based diet, you don't need it.
Right. And, if you read the book Whole, but which doctor wrote it?
That's Dr. T. Colin Campbell.
Yeah. T. Colin Campbell came to some of our veg fests too. I got to meet him.
Yeah, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, he wrote Whole, that Denise just mentioned. He also wrote the book, The China Study, that we talked about earlier. He will be our keynote speaker at our biggest event, which is Southwest Florida Veg Fest. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. That's the one we've been doing for the longest time. And I was talking with Paul before. It used to be in downtown Bonita Springs, if you guys have been there, but we're moving it to Farmer Mike's. It's going to be on a plants-only farm. We're trying to start a whole new concept. Like I said, you'll be able to see Dr. T. Colin Campbell there. He'll be on our video wall doing a live presentation. And he'll be doing some question and answer stuff after as well. So just, he's like 84 years young, something like that. He doesn't travel anymore. 85, yeah.
So that was a quote that I found in Discover magazine. It was written by a dietitian. She said that meat is not essential to the human diet. And you don't even need to supplement with those powders or anything, because as you'll read in Dr. Campbell's book, Whole, that taking supplements and especially getting too much of something that you don't even need can actually cause cancer. So we don't recommend supplements. The only supplement that we recommend is B12. That's the only thing.